Hello and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes Quickstrike from Hasbro. I must say that I've been rather looking forward to this figure. While I know absolutely nothing about the character, I think it looks like such a great and weird design that whether it's a decent transformation or not, it was kind of one I just had to grab. So here we have the figure in that standard Transformers packaging. We get the artwork of the character in his robot and alt mode with that Cobra for a Scorpion tail, which I think is so cool. We get the transformation step number at the top, robot to Scorpion in 21, Transformers Age of the Prime, Quickstrike, Hasbro. Bottom gives us our legal, top just gives us Quickstrike name. Side we get some lovely artwork of the character, and on the other side gives us that cross sell of the primes. Then on the back we get the product shot of our figure in robot and alt mode. I think there must be some slight printing error on my packaging there. It's just a little weird. I imagine that's just my copy, and it really doesn't bother me at all because I dispose of all my boxes. And then at the bottom we get that standard legal and barcode. So without any further ado, let's get this open. Oh, this one's tough to get into. There we go. We get our instruction manual. And then we have the figure himself. It looks like he doesn't come with any accessories, although there's some tape put down where the accessories would be. I am just going to double check that there's no accessories to expect. It doesn't appear so that's all well and good. I didn't want to open this and start messing around with it, only to find I need to take it back because something's missing. Despite being embedded in a blister pack, it's still got those god-awful cable ties, so I need to unclip all of those. Oh god, I hate these things. Get some for the feet. I think that's everything, and then he unclips from there, and that should just be the packaging. I haven't dropped any of those cable ties for once. There we go, and put that to one side. I'm just going to take a quick look at the instructions because I think there was some minor out of the box assembly adjustments to be made. So the only thing is amending the position of his claw/hands, the tail, and his feet. So let's get him set up, and then let's take a look at the figure. Okay, so straight out of the packaging, he is sort of laid as flat as he'll go. The feet, as you can see, there's the inside of the claw under the feet, and they need to fold down, he says. Just a little tough to get underneath there to fold those down so that the feet can stand. Oh, those are tough joints there, and they do sort of sit into place quite snugly. The claws are wrapped around the legs, so just pull that away, and then we can twist the arm around as you want for displaying. There we go. So then we can open those and position those as we want, and something similar with the tail. There we go. Oh, would you look at that? There are loads of joints on this, so you can get that arm really moved into a position you want. Immediately the mouth, which is hinged and open. That's amazing. And you can get him being his own ventriloquist. Did you hear the one about the snake? What? He slivered. I'm sorry, that was really, really bad. But yes, here we have Quickstrike. It is done in some really gorgeous looking plastic and paint apps. This figure looks fantastic. So predominantly done in this grey plastic, which has some really nice molded detail on it, especially with the scales of the snake. The top has some blue turquoise paint apps along the scales, giving that snake some additional features, and that looks amazing. That just looks so good. And that blue, while it's a lot shinier on the snake, it does sort of match the rest of the teal blue on Quickstrike himself, as does the face. We get some really lovely gold paint apps on the chest. The gold plastic itself is a little more of a cheesy colour than an actual gold, but to be honest, that's kind of expected with gold plastic. It's very, very rare that we get a figure with gold plastic that actually looks gold. Then on the back we get his head, and again there's some really gorgeous paint apps throughout this. There's some really lovely molded detailing in the scales and the texture of the body. Overall, straight out of the packaging, without looking at anything else, this is a gorgeous figure. I absolutely love the paint, the blues and teals they've used on this figure. It's gorgeous, really, really is. As for articulation itself, the head is on a ball joint, so you can get some backwards, forwards. It's also on a hinge, I'm assuming for transformation, but yeah, you can get that forward. You can get it slightly back, and then you can get it full 360 there. Ooh. There we go. The shoulder pads are hinged, so they can move up slightly, but they catch with the rest of the mold there, so they're only going to go up that far. But as a result, the articulation on the arm is not hindered in any real way at all. You can sort of get the arm that far, but you can then twist this part up if you need to, so you can get plenty of range of movement there. There is a bicep swivel, and then in addition to the bicep swivel, there is obviously the hinge at the elbow, and then what would be the wrist is swivels as well, so you can get this moving around quite nicely. You can get those legs open as well. I'm not too keen on the molded plastic between the legs. I'm assuming it's there so these don't clash together and snap. Would have perhaps been nice if we could have had these on ball joints in some way, but probably for the price point it wasn't achievable. But that is some nice movement there, nice and tight as well. The waist, if you unclip the head at the back there, you do get a waist rotation, and you can bring that all the way back for a full rotation if you want. However, the head does clip back in, and once the head is in position, it does limit some of that range there. Leg comes out that far, forward, back. There is a calf swivel up at the hip joint here, so it's higher than usual, but that does allow some movement there. We get the knee bend, there's nothing else, and then there is an ankle swivel as well, and of course that claw hinges in and out as well. Then on the other arm we get what is the scorpion tail slash this cobra. And I'm just going to twist him all around so he's in position, and you can see here it's segmented with 3, 4, 5, 6 ball joints. Now normally I complain about ball joints on Transformer figures, however this part is brilliant, and The ball joints really allow for additional articulation here and movement. As you can see, you can really get this snake twisted around. You can get him into various positions and poses as needed. That's a really, really nice touch. You can get him fully straightened out, and he has a really long reaching arm. Or if you want, you can bring it down, you can twist some of these around, and it becomes more of a natural arm. The mouth on the snake is also articulated, so that hinges down, and there is a small little port inside, which I'm not sure if that's going to fit a blast effect or not. Bear with me. So let's bring in this blast effect, and that does that. Will actually even take a blast effect piece, which is great. It doesn't hold it as tight as maybe you would want it to, but given the size of that and the fact that it's just such a little feature, it's a really brilliant touch. I really, really like that. Kind of wish we kind of got some sort of spitting effects piece or something like that just as an accessory for this figure. That would have been awesome and really added to that, but with or without it, it's a really nice little touch. Overall, Quickstrike in its robot mode, I absolutely love. I think it's a fantastic looking figure. Absolutely stunning piece, but being a transformer, one of the key things it needs to do is transform. So let's bring in our instructions and let's see how he transforms. So first up, these shoulder pads are the shoulder pads actually lift up at the sides like that. Then the chest comes forward, head drops down, chest or the ab lifts up and around, and our cobra head then comes around into the middle, and then this tab here will slot in with the chest piece there like that, so that slots in nice and tight. The chest can close back down over the head, and then this body piece folds up and clips into the back of the body or the torso there. Then fitting this around, the shoulder pads, or both shoulder pads clip over the side of the body. It's a nice tight clasp there. The arm comes out to the side and should be, I think, like that. Yep. Nope. This needs to. Okay, I see. So there's a hinge here. This needs to slot in like so with the legs there. Then our legs rotate. It appears they should rotate here. Come around like that. And then that appears that should be there. They should be up like that. And then that should flip round like so. then this will swing around, and then that clip will connect into there. You'll feel that fitting quite snugly. So we've got our feet underneath like so. Very face hugger-ish, those legs. They splay open. We can play with the tail as well. We'll post the tail in a minute. Then the head, if it isn't already, comes down and clasps into the small hole, peg hole there. These arms come out to the side, and our legs can close accordingly. We're supposed to get it's a tight joint. Okay, so yeah, they just come in like so. There, they should be like that. And we can splay them out a little bit if we want. That head comes down and clasps into position, he says. There we go. That clips into place like that. Then we have our claws. Oh, claws, once they're pushed in, do become awkward to get out. There we go. There we go. We get our claws, and we can twist the tail around, and you can get that all lined up. Bring that up, and you can pose that as you want. But there we have Quickstrike in his alt mode, and he looks just as good in his alt mode as he did in robot mode. All of the colours and everything else continue to shine. There isn't really a lot to the transformation. Everything kind of just slides around. It's not overly intricate. It kind of reminds me a little of various jets and things where things just kind of tuck under each other and you can kind of still see all of the robot mode in alt mode. However, for this creature, it works. It works really well. The arm tucks under really neatly to give us those legs. The tail arm comes around and tucks in nicely to make it actually look like a tail rather than just a arm sticking out the back. The legs become the claws, and you don't really see that they're the feet. Overall, it's a really, really nice looking figure. I absolutely love the look of this. I love the colour schemes on this. The colour schemes are just amazing. They really are vibrant and sort of make me feel like a kid's 90s toy would, in terms of, you know, those bright, vibrant colours. The weird design. There is, you know, something very 90ish in this design, and it works amazingly well. I absolutely love it. It's a simple figure with very simple design, but everything it does really, really well. The head comes, transformation should be nice and simple. Only thing I will say is all of the joints are really tight. Now that is not a bad thing in any way whatsoever, but it does make the movement of the joints just a little bit fiddly, but again, I'm not going to complain about tight joints. It's not causing any harm to the figure. You know, it doesn't feel like you're stressing anything or anything like that. It's just that, as you can see, you're trying to do these things and the figure's just stiff enough that you've got to put a little bit of force into it. But it doesn't hinder it in any real way. I have to say that this is probably, as simple as it is, this is probably one of my favorite Transformers I've picked up in quite a while. You know, overall, on the surface of things, it's nothing special, but there's just been a lot of love that's gone into that paint detailing and the look of the figure. Overall, a great figure, really, really fun to play with. Has some nice posability, has some nice paint apps. The only thing I would have requested is perhaps some sort of accessory, maybe a spitting effects piece or something for it, just to give it that chef's kiss, shall we say. But otherwise, it is a great figure. I am so glad to have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, stay safe, and remember, freedom is a right, not a privilege.